UFC 294 wrapped up. Islam Makhachev versus Volkanovski 2. Makhachev won via a head kick KO. That's right. This isn't Justin Gaethje versus Dustin Poirier. This is Makhachev versus Volkanovski. Makhachev won via a vicious head kick. Really tough to watch. It was in the first round. My original pick was Makhachev anyways, but I had it super close, 51% leaning towards Makhachev, 49% Volkanovski. If there's anybody who could shock the world, it's Volkanovski. He almost did last time when they fought. But I had it a third or fourth round TKO KO, or I had it a decision. So I was very surprised when in the first round, Makhachev, if there's anybody who's going to get a first round finish, I was going with Volkanovski. Makhachev proved us all wrong. So tonight I'm just going to break down the fight, what happened, and what I think happens next. So again, recap of what happened. Makhachev gets the KO over Volkanovski in the very first round. He showed really improved striking. I think a lot of us were under the impression that Makhachev is a great counter boxer, right? He's good on the back foot. He's good when you're pushing him back. But Makhachev this time around, he showed improvements in his striking in that he was landing his leg kicks, his body kicks, and those were all setting up his high kicks. And when he knocked Volkanovski off, it wasn't when he was being pushed back. Like he hurt Volkanovski, I think. I know one of them in their fight when Volkanovski was kind of pressuring Makhachev countered and Volkanovski stumbled, and I think the second time was also on the back foot, though I could be wrong. But Makhachev this time around showed that it's not just his defensive boxing that you need to fear. His offensive boxing, his offensive kickboxing rather, has improved as well, and he looked wonderful. Volkanovski, though, we have to talk about his super strength. He defended a Makhachev takedown. Again, Volkanovski's strong, man. Even on short notice, he is a strong guy, and he was able to defend really cleanly, was able to reverse it in the clinch. At one point, Makhachev did have the thigh clinch, and I was like, oh, he's going to go for a knee up here. He wasn't able to land it. But Volkanovski, man, he's a strong guy. And at this point, with that kind of win that Makhachev has gotten, I don't think you can argue that he's a pound-for-pound number one. Jones took however many years off, and while Makhachev has been here, Makhachev has now beaten the pound-for-pound number one fighter, Volkanovski, or one of the pound-for-pound number one fighters, twice now. He has a win over Oliveira, and he's on like a 13 fight winning streak. I just don't think you can argue it anymore. It doesn't matter that it was on short notice. I know people are going to make that excuse. You can't. Volkanovski is one of the best fighters in the world, and I know it maybe would have gone a bit differently if he had a full camp, but it's not like Makhachev outlasted him or outcardioed him. Makhachev beat him with a perfect setup. Even if you had a full camp, maybe you could obviously practice and train for these types of things, but this was a perfect technique by Makhachev, and I think honestly, if Volkanovski had a full camp, we can't really predict properly, but I think results would have been the same even if it had happened a bit later down on the line. I think Makhachev really wanted to avenge his last performance, where a lot of people felt that he might have lost. I thought he won, but it was a very close fight. And when I was speaking before I made the video on sort of breaking down Makhachev versus Volkanovski, how I'm going with the fight, who I'm going with in the fight, I mentioned I just don't think Makhachev's improving at the same rate as Volkanovski. I take it back, I was wrong. Makhachev's improving really quickly. Between his last fight with Volkanovski and this fight, he looks so much better on the feet. He was already really good, again, on the back foot. But now, moving forward, Makhachev is a terrifying man. Now you need to fear him on the feet, and you need to fear him on the ground as well. And he's already one of the best grapplers in the UFC. I think Chimaev might be the best pure grappler, but that's not really the point. The point is that he was already one of the best grapplers in the UFC, and now he's a fantastic striker. This is a scary guy, man. Makhachev is a scary individual, and I see him absolutely bulldozing his way through Oliveira, through Gaethje, through Gamrot, Sarukian, whoever they put in front of him, because he's not just a wrestler anymore. He can keep his, he can keep it going on the feet as well and get huge knockouts over guys like Alexander Volkanovski. When was the last time somebody did that? I know Holloway he didn't even come close. I mean, he kind of brought Volkanovski down to a knee. But that's the closest anybody's really gotten as of yet. So really impressive win by Makhachev. Question is now, what's next? Will Volkanovski recover? For Makhachev, the most likely next fight is going to be Gaethje Oliveira. I still think they're going to rebook the Oliveira fight because Oliveira just had a slight cut. I mean, not a slight. It was a pretty major cut, but it wasn't like an injury or a bone breaking or anything like that. I'd say he should be ready to fight again December, January. Makhachev didn't take a lot of damage. It just comes down to the weight cut and whether Makhachev wants to make that weight cut again anytime soon. They could also go Gaethje because he has a BMF. He got the huge head kick win over Poirier, but there's also Gamrot, who I think they're going to probably pass up because in the post-fight interview, it was Oliveira or Gaethje. It wasn't really Gamrot. But Gamrot was a backup fighter, so he could potentially fight either Gaethje or Oliveira while one of those men fights. Makhachev and the winner of that will go on to fight the winner of Makhachev versus either Gaethje or Oliveira. Volkanovski, he had a very heartfelt moment at the post-fight press conference where it's like he has to fight, and I think that just comes down to his mentality that he's in his peak, and he wants to keep his peak going, and I feel like that's a great mentality to have, but he has to be realistic with himself. He just got knocked out, and I think he should take some time off until spring. I don't think he should fight Topuria in January. Topuria is a guy with heavy hands, and I just think that he got knocked out, suffered a pretty big cut as well. I think it's best for him to take, or I think it was 2 cuts actually. He needs to take some time off and maybe just let his body, kind of calm, heal up a bit, heal up from the trauma of the knockout as well as from the cuts that he sustained. And I think Volkanovski will make a rebound. I know some people are going to say that his peak is done. This is the end of Volkanovski. Volkanovski's proven us wrong time and time again. Nobody saw him absolutely schooling Max Holloway for 5 rounds like he did in the 3rd fight. If there's anybody who can shock us, like I said, it's going to be Volkanovski. And he almost shocked us last time when he fought Makhachev. He obliterated Yair Rodriguez. He's so good. He's so talented. And again, we're talking about a guy like Makhachev who is just so big and so strong. And Volkanovski gave him so many problems in the first fight. He took this on short notice. Nothing but respect. But I think he's going to make a comeback for sure. I have him winning against Topuria when they fight, but I think he needs to take some time off, let his body heal up. And just to end this off, of course, Volkanovski, as I mentioned, has struggled against taller opponents and head kicks. We know, of course, Holloway landed one, wasn't able to get the knockout. Kind of speaks to Makhachev's setups, speaks to maybe his power. We all know Holloway isn't exactly the hardest hitter, and this is at a higher weight class, so there's going to be a bit more power anyways. But yeah, I mean, really sucks to see Volkanovski go out like that. He's such a good fighter, such a good human being. All respect to Makhachev, fantastic performance. I hope Volkanovski, and I know and I hope that he's able to come back from this. Nothing but respect to him. Hope he takes some time off, lets his body heal up a bit. February, March, springtime, I think is a good time to come back and fight Topuria. But what do you guys think? Do you agree? Do you disagree? Thoughts on how the fight would have gone if Volkanovski had a full fight cam? Thoughts on Makhachev, Volkanovski, maybe the potential fight Volkanovski-Topuria? How do you see that going? Let me know in the comments below, and I hope to see you in the next one. Peace.